There have been 30 World's Fairs held in the United States, the first in New York in 1853 and 1854, and the last in New Orleans in 1984. The next to the last World's Fair was held in Knoxville, Tennessee in 1982. World's Fairs tend to be held in larger cities: New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, San Francisco, etc. The only city smaller than Knoxville to hold a World's Fair is Charleston, South Carolina in 1901 and 1902. So how does a city the size of Knoxville get approved to hold a World's Fair? Well, any city can apply to the Bureau of International Expositions in Paris and submit a proposal. World's Fairs are held at irregular times based on proposals received. There is no set schedule like the Olympics. One person who was a driving force behind the Knoxville World's Fair was Jake Butcher. Jake, along with his brother C.H. Butcher, now both deceased, owned a banking empire in Tennessee. Their empire collapsed and both served jail sentences when the government convicted them of bank fraud related to the operation of their banks. I will do another YouTube video later delving into the story of the Butcher brothers' rise to fame and fortune, all the way to their ultimate conviction and prison sentence. Anyway, back to the Knoxville World's Fair. Knoxville developers hatched the idea of a World's Fair in Knoxville based on the success of such an event in Spokane, Washington, a city of similar size to Knoxville. The Spokane World's Fair took place in 1974. There was skepticism both locally and nationally about the ability of Knoxville, described as a scruffy little city by the Wall Street Journal in a 1980 news article, to successfully host a World's Fair. This controversy contributed to the development of the term Scruffy City as a nickname synonymous with Knoxville. The exposition was the second World's Fair held in Tennessee. The first took place in Nashville in 1897. The Knoxville Fair opened on May 1st, 1982, with an opening day crowd of 87,000 on the site between the University of Tennessee and downtown. The theme of the exposition was Energy Turns the World. President Ronald Reagan was at the opening ceremony. Television personality and Winchester, Tennessee native Dinah Shore was the master of ceremonies for the opening festivities, and musical artists Porter Wagner and Ricky Skaggs performed as the gates opened. From beginning to end, the fair hosted over 11 million visitors from all over the world, making it one of the most popular and successful world fairs in U.S. history. It made a very small profit, far short of the $5 million surplus projected by organizers and boosters. The city of Knoxville was left with a $46 million debt, which was paid in full in 2007. 22 countries had exhibits at the exposition, including China. China's participation is significant in that it is the only World's Fair the country has ever participated in. Some highlights of the fair include a mummy featured at the Peruvian exhibit was unwrapped and studied at the fair. The Egyptian exhibit featured ancient artifacts valued at over $30 million. Hungary, the home country of the Rubik's Cube, sent the world's largest Rubik's Cube with rotating squares for the entrance display to its pavilion. The Rubik's Cube remained at the fair and was displayed at the Holiday Inn adjacent to World's Fair Park. Other than the Sun Sphere, most of the evidence of a World's Fair is now non-existent on the site. In my mind, the greatest legacy of that World's Fair is that the current site is an aesthetically pleasing area that once was the home of a grungy-looking railroad switching yard. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment, give a thumbs up, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for watching.